I'm being shown a lot of references to do with waking up. The Sun card, something being brought into the light of day after a period of transformation, death, and rebirth. I keep also seeing symbolism of the snake shedding its skin. And I've also been shown trumpets and trombones, which were interesting. Trumpets I've seen before, trombones were a new sort of synchronicity or symbol for me. So there's something about like the band is playing and these big instruments or these loud instruments, because that's what I think of when I think of a trombone and a trumpet. They're loud. They're going to wake you up if they are playing. So there's something about being woken up out of a sleep, out of some kind of a period of stasis, and going through a necessary, but maybe an uncomfortable transformation. I was also being shown stuff to do with stepping out of or outgrowing your old self. And that goes back to that snake symbolism again of outgrowing or shedding the skin. But I was also being shown like shoes that don't fit anymore and how this can represent we can never really go back to our old selves. Just like the skin of the snake can never be put back on again. They have to grow new skin. Same thing with those old shoes. They don't fit anymore. And so you can't go back to them. So there could be something about letting an old version of you die or grieving something in the past that you were once really attached to or identified with, and going through this kind of like an awakening process into this new day or a new sense of self. So the Sun card kept coming up and I keep seeing references to it everywhere I go. And the Sun can have to do with birth, rebirth, awareness, a sense of self. I'm seeing a lighthouse right now. And yes, that was another synchronicity or symbol Spirit's been showing me the last couple days. So they're bringing it into my mind now in relation to the Sun card or the Sun energy. So let me think about that. Well, they both project light. They both allow us to see something. The daytime, the sun is in the daytime. The daytime allows us to see more clearly than in the nighttime. Same thing with they're showing me a spotlight right now. So there can be something, the spotlight itself is a little bit more specific. The sun illuminates everything on this side of the earth or what's facing it. But with a spotlight and with the lighthouse reference, this is more of like a beam of light that's illuminating something specific. And they're showing me somebody waking up again, somebody on or near that lighthouse. So maybe there's something that's being illuminated for you and it's helping you to wake up. They're showing me right now an elaborate trap that was designed to keep you asleep. Okay. But the angels are calling you into a state of wakefulness is what they're telling me right now. So you're getting this kind of like wake up call, even if you think you're already awake. There's something about like virtual reality or like a next level of awakening, a next level of awareness that you're gaining, something very pivotal to your sense of self. So maybe this is like a new state of understanding, a new growth phase, right? You're moving into a new phase of life or a new state of being is actually what I just heard, state of being. And I don't think that this is one that you've been in before, at least not in this lifetime. No, I am hearing ever before. So this is not a state of being that you've necessarily been in before. And it may feel like going into unknown territory. It may feel like you're walking into the darkness, but there's that spotlight that's guiding the way. There's that lighthouse that's showing you which direction to go and which direction not to go. It's giving you perspective, it's giving you context, and it's allowing this birth or rebirth to occur from within you. There is kind of like an uncomfortable in between, you know, like when you wake up in the morning and you're just like kind of groggy, you're out of it, you're coming out of that sleep state and you're a little bit uncomfortable with the transition. It can feel a little bit like uncomfortable. There's a dissonance kind of phase to that. So this can even be talking about your vibration. Maybe you're significantly shifting your vibrational frequency. And there's kind of like this in-between stage of that can feel a little bit uncomfortable because you're waking up to a higher vibration. This actually makes sense with what they were showing me before too. They were showing me references to flying higher. So the first one was air balloons, like hot air balloons, and the fire that helps to rise, to create that heat that rises. So that's an elevation of the frequency in the way that I interpret it. And then they were also showing me spreading of wings, flying higher, trusting your wings, taking a leap of faith into that unknown. And they were showing me birds on a branch and birds on a wire. And both of those, it's like if you cut the wire, if the branch breaks, it doesn't matter because the bird is not reliant on what it's standing on. It's reliant on its own wings. So there's something about a frequency shift connected to the wings, connected to the elevation of the spirit. They're showing me mind, mental state transformation. Okay, so this is actually occurring in the brain, and I'm feeling pressure right now in my third eye, right behind there in the frontal lobe. So there's something, and the frontal lobe is to do with like executive functioning and complex thought. So there's something about the way that you're processing information or the way that you're able to think of things that is elevating. They're showing me scales right now, scales like not fish scales, but the scales of, okay, they did just say scales of justice, but what I'm seeing visually, though, is like musical scales. So again, the elevation of frequency. Fish scales related to Christ consciousness, and the scales of justice can be about karma. I was seeing 222 today, and oh, it's the 22nd. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Christ consciousness. Okay, but I was seeing 222 all day today, and I didn't put it together that today is the second month and the 22nd day. And I don't usually ascribe to these Gregorian calendar portals like the 1111 portal, the 222 portal, but I did see 222 all day today, and I was thinking about Libra, I was thinking about partnerships, I was thinking about balance, I was kind of interpreting it in the ways that I have before. And just in this moment now, sitting down to do this reading, I'm realizing it's literally the 222 portal. Okay, so no wonder I was called to to share this today. So, okay, so the sun, expansion, elevation, higher frequency. They're showing me the octaves of the planets and how each planet has a different scale of frequency that it's able to ascend to or descend to. Ooh, that's interesting. And they're showing me the musical notes again, and they're showing me planets as musical notes. Oh, that's cool. It's like the symphony. Oh, right, the trombone and the trumpet. The symphony of our solar system, because it's around the sun. Everything is synced to the sun. There could be something that's matching up or that you are vibrationally shifting to align to. This could be part of it as well. You're aligning to that frequency of the sun or aligning to that frequency of a particular planet in its higher octave. So maybe you were at a lower scale of vibration connected to that archetype, and now you're moving up a scale. I'm seeing a crow right now. They're showing me a crow. No, they corrected me. It's a raven. Thank you. Yes, it's bigger and it has a little tuft of hair on its beak. Okay, or feathers. So the raven, I always associate the raven with the third eye. So this, and I was feeling pressure in the frontal lobe, which is third eye area. Okay, so there's something of an elevation of the frequency of the mind. Telepathy has been coming through a lot in previous channeled sessions. They're saying the word synchronicities, and they're showing me a book with the names. Oh, that was in my dream last night. I had a dream that there was a book that just said synchronicities right across the front. What I usually do is I write down my synchronicities in my synchronicities journal, and I have a lot of these. But the one that I saw in my dream was like an actual published book. That would be interesting. But synchronicities are so unique, subjective, and specific to our own personal journey, and how we interpret them is also going to be unique. So I don't know if that book even exists, but I'm going to open my book here to the last time that I wrote, which was yesterday. And I was seeing spirals. They were showing me spirals of time, flow, vibrational matrix, matching flow, and matching state of vibrational mixture. Okay, that's what they actually said, was matching state of vibrational mixture. And I wrote question mark next to it. Everything I write in quotations is directly channeled from spirit. It's what I hear clairaudiently. So they were saying something about the mixture. Right. They have been showing me stuff to do with like potions and cauldrons. And this reminds me of like temperance energy, finding the right mixture, combining the right ingredients to get just the right result. It's like trial and error or process of elimination or just experimentation in general. Actually, I have been hearing the word experimentation and seeing synchronicities connected to that. So yes, this is making sense. Then they said special relativity, and underneath it, I wrote look it up because I don't know what that is. So, why don't we do that here together and get a little more information on what this is? Okay, so special relativity is a theory in physics that explains how space, time, mass, and energy relate to each other. It was developed by Albert Einstein and published in 1905. Okay, I was seeing Einstein when I wrote that down, so that must have been somehow an association that I already have. But okay, key ideas. The speed of light is constant for all observers. The laws of physics are the same for all observers who are not accelerating relative to each other. Time is relative, meaning the rate at which time passes depends on the observer's frame of reference. Spirit has been teaching me a lot about that recently. And in some of the previous videos here, I've been talking about and channeling through stuff about quantum physics and time and relativity. And I still don't fully understand it all. I'm learning as I go here. Right, that's another reference they've been showing me was like going back to school, doing research, getting curious, learning something. And maybe this is like what they're talking about with the synchronicities. I always talk about this as like spirit school that I'm in. So this is like my school workbook, and they have me write down these things so I can learn through them. So time is relative, meaning the rate at which the time passes depends on the observer's frame of reference. Space-time can bend around objects. Yes, we were talking about that in a previous reading. An object's mass can change when it's moving at high speeds. Ooh, cool. I didn't know that. Oh, okay. One of the most famous equations in special relativity is E equals mc squared, which means energy is equal to mass times the speed of light squared. And that did come up in a previous reading. And I wrote that down in this book, yeah, which was on February 3rd. Okay, opening the door. That's what it says right above it, opening the door. Oh, that was the bull, the ram, and the fish episode. I almost wanted to call it an episode, channeling, reading, video, whatever these are. So that's interesting because they were also showing me doors, keys, unlocking chains, unlocking handcuffs, unlocking cages. They were showing me something about windows being open as well. They kept saying that a few weeks ago, or last week, they were saying something about the window is open. And it feels like a time window, like a window of time. So E equals mc squared shows that energy and mass are interchangeable and that a small amount of mass can produce a large amount of energy. General relativity is another theory of physics that builds on special relativity by explaining how gravity affects space and time. So I'm not sure how this is related to the message that they were bringing through today. It's all connected, they're saying, and that was actually something that I saw through synchronicities recently. They had me go back and watch one of my older videos, and there was a shit ton of synchronicities that they'd been showing me earlier today. And that video was from like last year. It was from a long time ago. It's just crazy how we can link up and see the connections through time. And I think this is actually part of the message, is the spirals in time and how things are connected that way. Okay, so now I did grab 2 decks that I did feel called to. So now that we've kind of gotten that general message out of the way, let's get some information about what we're talking about here. Listen to your true feelings. Don't let others talk you into doing something that you know is wrong. Okay, so there's a message here about aligning to the frequency that feels the most harmonious with you, because I'm getting the word discordance, and it's kind of like if you're being talked into doing something or aligning with people that feel discordant with you, it doesn't mean that you need to necessarily cut cords, although that is what I'm seeing right now. That's why I'm saying it. But it may mean that you need to kind of like reassess or reevaluate. because they're showing me those shoes again. It's like you've outgrown something and you can't put those shoes on again. You can try, but they're going to be way too tight. And they're not meant to fit you anymore. They're not going to be comfortable for you. So there's something about listening to those feelings, those sensations, maybe even showing up in your body around the misalignment to certain things or people. They said go in with the other deck now. Okay, the other deck I got is this angel one. So let's see what's going on here. What are we supposed to be talking about? Or what is the message here? I did mention angels. Ask your angels. Ask your angels. Because they're going to communicate through you. I meant to say to you, through feelings, but through you. And there's a message about clairsentience that I was seeing repeating this morning as well. There was a couple of different readings from different people. One of them was my own. Several of them were from other readers that did reference clairsentience. So again, synchronicity is how we communicate and express to ourselves through time. It's basically the awareness of timelines. And aligning to a particular timeline will give you these multiple sort of repeating patterns or synchronicities that show you what you're meant to be focusing on. The spotlight effect, they're saying, okay, interesting. So we have not the right time, and I got shivers through my body when I pulled this. Can I get clarity on that, Spirit? Okay, right after we have a year from now. The last reading that I just watched of mine, I kept seeing the number 10, and I was talking about 10 months. A year from now is 12 months. So maybe we're literally 2 months into the cycle. This is the second month. This is a timeless reading. So you might find this like a year from now and you're like, oh, it's going to be now, which it could very well be. Or it could be relative to that time in space at which you're watching this. But if you're watching this now, at the time that it's coming out, February 22nd, 2025, this is talking about a year from now, and I keep hearing 10 months, so it's actually going to be 10 months from now. So there's something right now that's not the right time. Can we get clarity on what that is? They said go back to the other deck. What is it? What is it that's not the right time? Because I was seeing that the window was open, the window of time. Maybe it's closed now? And maybe that's why they were showing me keys and locks and doors. So maybe it was only open for a brief window, and now we have to kind of wait and see the next phase. They're showing me a revolving door right now. You have to wait for the right time to jump in, kind of thing. Something about timing. Okay, just a bunch of cards came out. I did mention curiosity. That was a sync that I was seeing this morning as well. Like 3 or 4 times this morning. It says start a project related to something you're curious about, and I'm hearing the word study. So maybe this is a time now where we're meant to be studying something to allow that curiosity to take us in the right direction. But I did also see references to, nope, they said don't say that. Okay. We have simplicity. Put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. Put your energy into the basics and let go of excess. So maybe this is getting back to basics on something and learning it again. There was a window. Maybe you took an opportunity. There was a leap of faith. You did something. They're saying something about realigning the timelines, and they're showing me they're saying planetary matrix, and they're showing me like the spin of the planets in our solar system, and again, like the octaves of those. So there was something of a frequency shift that did take place. Okay, they just said neutron window. Let me write that one down. I feel like I need to search that because I'm not familiar with that. Oh, it is neutron window. It comes up. Okay, what is this? A neutron window is a window that allows neutrons to pass through and is used in applications like nuclear reactors and medical imaging. Neutron windows are made from aluminum, which has a short half-life for neutron-induced radiation. Now, I feel like this isn't like what Google is telling me is more of like the practical applications or the physical applications of this neutron window thing. But the way that they're showing it to me is something about like a neutron window at the soul level. They're saying molecular level, something about the molecules. of the soul or the frequency, or something about like a galactic gateway. They were also showing me the double slit experiment, which is one of my favorites. It's like when waves collapse down into particle form. Okay, and the observer effect being part of that. Anyway, if anything sparks your curiosity here, try to learn it in a simplified way, like break it down to its basics, because some of the stuff that Spirit has been bringing through me lately has been quite complex, and I try to understand it as simply as I can and relay the basics as I'm figuring out whatever this message is, and as we go along. But there's something here that we are meant to collectively inquire into and learn more about. Okay, the next one we have is you are gifted. I'm hearing clairsentience again, and it's not wanting to focus. Come on. There. You are gifted with clairsentience. I almost wanted to say group number 1, and this is not a group reading. Like on my other channel, it's Tarot and Beyond, where I do pick a cards, and it's group 1, 2, or 3. I did hear group 1, so maybe there was some group 1 reading that is significant to this, or this is one group of many. They said going through the neutron window. Okay, one group of many, and they're saying sample. They're showing me sample sizes of the collective going through these neutron windows as they open and close at different times to achieve different results. That's what they're telling me. And there's something about the gifts that are being activated through this. They're saying propulsion, expulsion. Okay. The third eye, the telepathy, again, that keeps coming up. Parallel reality awareness or dual awareness, they're saying. Dual awareness. That's third eye as well. It's the understanding and the unification of duality. When we get to that higher octave of the third eye being activated, we're able to harmonize between these opposites and bring them into oneness. The next card we have is very soon. What you're asking for will happen soon in a happy way. They're giving us a lot of timing in these cards. Very soon. And this feels like a sunrise, not a sunset to me in this moment. I'm not sure if it's actually that, but that's what I'm seeing. There's something coming in. There's something coming in. They just said, what's coming in? One step at a time, lots of little steps, make big dreams come true. Okay, that's actually another sync. I was seeing references to what you're doing now, having a large ripple effect into an outcome that you desire in, well, it might be a year from now or 10 months from now. When Spirit says very soon to them, very soon can be like years from now. Which I had to learn the hard way. I remember asking for timing from Spirit and hearing them say soon and going, oh, okay, it's going to happen like today or tomorrow or a week from now. No, their idea of soon is very different from ours because their point of relativity in the time-space matrix is completely fundamentally different from ours. And so they see time as all existing in a perpetual now. And so it's a little bit harder to gauge things in a more linear timeline, the way that we perceive it. Anyway, very soon in this case is talking about 10 to 12 months from now, and how this is, there's an elevation of the self. Again, these gifts are expanding. You're outgrowing something. You're shedding the skin. You're going through a death and rebirth process, as we tend to do. Like, it's another one of those, you know, you're probably familiar with what these look like, but this is like a whole nother level. I mean, it always is, right? It always is a whole nother level that we've not been to, but this one feels particularly profound. And they're saying neutron window again. So it's something to do with that neutron window that we've moved through collectively, or that we're being prepared to move through in the second instance, they're saying. So yeah, there will be another one. They're saying time periods of growth, collective expansion, and one step at a time. They're showing me the rainbow, the different frequencies or octaves being very significant here. They were showing me references to sound frequency as well, like high frequencies that we can't perceive with the human ear. And how age can impact that. You know, the older we get, the less sensitive our hearing becomes. Especially, it's because we've been exposed to too much loudness. But I'm actually seeing an increase in sensitivity. So there could be like an aging backwards kind of process. And that's how this whole shedding of the skin or rebirth is occurring. And it's giving you more awareness. They keep saying clairsentiently. And for those who are not familiar with clairsentience, it's basically being able to feel energetically in the body. So being able to sense vibration, being able to sense instinct, being able to sense emotions in the body and how they move, being able to feel the environmental energy around you, being able to feel other people's energy. It kind of crosses over, or there's a little overlap there with empathy, but it's not quite the same thing. They do have overlap though. But clairsentience is where you can just feel something. Like, oh, it feels heavy, or it feels light, or it feels hot, or it feels cold, or it feels expansive, or it feels constrictive. So there's so many different ways that we can interpret that. And they want you to get curious and simplify, like find a way to almost like categorize the time cycles and the feelings that you're getting. They're showing me a surfer riding a wave right now, which always has to do with like a wave of energy that comes in. They're saying synchronicities again. So getting onto that time cycle where you're seeing those synchronicities line up and putting it all together. Riding the wave can also talk about maintaining your balance, our balance, as we kind of go through a big surge of energy, or a big increase in our awareness, or a big wave of feeling, right? Because water, emotions, ride the wave. But I do also associate that particular synchronicity with waves of energy coming in from the sun. Specifically, when spirit shows me surfers on waves, it's usually because there's some kind of a solar flare. Okay, I did just hear X class. Let me look up X class flare. Yeah, okay, so a solar flare is a relatively intense, localized emission of electromagnetic radiation in the sun's atmosphere. Flares occur in active regions and are often, but not always, accompanied by coronal mass ejections, solar particle events, and other eruptive solar phenomenon. The occurrence of solar flares varies with the 11-year solar cycle. So there's something about this frequency or octave of the planets and the solar system, because they're all revolving around the sun, and the sun is kind of like this beacon of light for this particular region of space. This is kind of what governs our growth cycles, our elevation of consciousness, the expansion of our being, I'm hearing. And maybe that's connected to the neutron window, or there's something about the sun or solar gateway. Solar gateway, I'm seeing Stonehenge right now in my mind. Solar gateway, they said, and then they showed me Stonehenge. They're telling me I'll get more downloads about that later. Okay, so there's something about these frequency shifts as they arrive on the planet, and how we're meant to integrate them, or how we're meant to kind of move them through, and what they're activating within us in terms of these gifts, and the ability to feel, the ability to communicate, and to receive guidance and information directly from our spirit teams, right? It's like we're the ground crew. And they're the eye in the sky. They're the home-based computer people in like the spy movies, right? It's like you got to have two sides of the team. And so the ground crew here are meant to be going through these activations, and there's something very significant, or I'm hearing the word special, something very special about a year from now. Can we get more information on that? Yeah, let's go in with this tech. What is happening in a year from now? They're saying time cycle, take action. Okay, so we did get not the right time with that year from now card. So the year from now is going to be the time to take action. What kind of action are we talking about here? They said use of gifts, large scale, becoming. They're saying being oriented for the time being. Being for the time being. Okay. Being for the time being. Look for a sign. They really want us to be collectively tracking these synchronicities. We're being told to wait. We're being told to wait right now. They're saying for the time being, again. So just be for the time being and look for these signs. Ask your angels to show you these things. Ask your guides, your team, whatever you identify them as. It doesn't have to be angels per se. It's just one way. They're saying something about localized. What are you talking about? Okay, they're saying local anesthesia, and they're showing me in my dream last night, I got pricked by a thorn in my hand, my left hand, and my hand started to go numb in that dream. Okay, so there's something that pricked you, a pain point. The left hand can have to do with the heart. The heart chakra is connected to the hands. A pain point that caused you to numb out or not to feel, or there's some kind of poison in that needs to be removed or sucked out in this process of being or becoming. Yeah, they're showing me the snake venom, the venom of the snake. Oh, but if you invest, I meant to say ingest. Investing time into this process, they're saying. But if you ingest small amounts of venom, you can build up a tolerance. It's like an immunity, a natural immunity, because your antibodies will build a resistance to that toxin. So there's something about feeling here and the ability to feel in these higher sensory realms that maybe there was something, okay, they're giving me the word perturbed. Maybe there was something that was uncomfortable or disturbing or perturbed you in some way. They're showing me cleansing materials like cleansing sprays and my black tourmaline. I'm also hearing I can never say that word. Tourmalinated quartz. There we go. Thank you. Tourmalinated quartz. Hematite. Cleansing spray. So there was something that was toxic in the body, they're saying, in the body, and it needs time to heal. The solar flare brings things to the surface, or the solar energy or the frequency. They're saying geomagnetic. Okay, so something about that is bringing things to the surface. There's like a purge. That's one of the reasons why whatever it is that they're talking about here with taking action and not being the right time, this is why they're bringing it up, is because there's other steps that need to be taken first. It's like there's prerequisite work that we need to do they're showing me it's like learning to find your balance on the surfboard before you get into those big 10-foot waves. And there's some in the collective that are just beginning to stand up on the board, and they're still a bit shaky. And so for those of us who have been riding these waves for a while, we need to kind of gear down is actually what they're saying. We need to gear down a little bit to help those who have fallen behind, who need help to get through that window, whatever that means. Oh my God, I just looked at this card and look at the background there. There's like the standing stones that's reminding me of Stonehenge. It's not actually Stonehenge, but it's reminding me of that, and they showed me that earlier. And there's like a tiered effect moving up to this hill, this mound. Okay, so something about building our way. Yeah, one step at a time. The ladder. DNA is like a ladder. I saw a reference to that yesterday. So there's something about climbing the ladder one step at a time. And there's a process to that we have to be patient with. Okay, let me see. I knew this card was going to come out because the reading that I watched of my own from like a year ago, the pets card was the group that I chose, or the pets card was in the group that I chose. So there's something about pets. In that reading, I was talking about the path, the winding path, the wishing well, a pet guardian, working with healing pet energy. Underneath that, we have true. Yes, what you're asking for is the truth. That's a reading I'm going to be doing on my other channel. It's going to be a truth reading because there was 2 references that came up to that. And now 3. Well, more than that, but yeah. Okay, we have happy thoughts and you'll know in the morning. To feel happier right now, think about a memory or something else that makes you smile. So this is the tool that they want us to use collectively to elevate the frequencies, thinking about happy thoughts, like going to your happy place. because I'm hearing the word bombardment, and there's something about like the frequencies. They're showing me a low level frequency, like a low level disturbing or uncomfortable frequency that's coming to the surface, pinpricks or pain. Maybe it's showing up as negative thoughts or anxiety. Maybe it's showing up as uncomfortable sensations in the body. But there's something about the ability to choose how you work with your mind that clears the energetic field and helps to elevate. And they're saying sustain, and to sustain that frequency. Now, you'll know in the morning when you wake up, you'll have a better idea of what to do. Relax until then. So if you've been trying to push for something, or you've been trying to move forward on something or take action, and it's really just kind of making things more muddled, or there's some anxiety or some level of uncomfortableness that's being provoked, they're saying just wait on it, because we've got several cards here talking about it's not the right time. Wait on it. A year from now, it could be less. It could be more. But there's an energy of like just slowing down and putting your energy into the basics, like the step-by-step building, really like these fundamental layers that are going to help to elevate in the long term. And that ripple effect will have a positive outcome in 10 to 12 months. Now, when you wake up, I'm hearing the song Wake Me Up Before September Ends. I think that's Green Day. Wake me up before September ends. Look up the lyrics. Okay, hold on. Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass. 7 years has gone so fast. Wake me up when September ends. I'm realizing right now that this came up in a channeled session that I did for, or with a friend of mine. I just remembered that. Here comes the rain again, falling from the stars, drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost, wake me up when September ends. Ring out the bells again, like we did when spring began, wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass, 20 years has gone so fast, wake me up before September ends. Okay, or when September ends. So, oh my God, I just realized this is talking about the wake me up message, or wake up. Wake me up when September ends. So the month of September could be significant. We're in February right now, but again, this is a timeless reading. Something about summer or spring could be part of this cycle as well. Spring, summer, fall, right? So there's like a progression. I'm hearing the elements, progression of the elements. What order do the elements go in? That's a good question. Let me look that up. On the periodic table, I don't know if that's what I'm asking. Hold on. Well, maybe it is. On the periodic table, elements are arranged in order of increasing atomic number, meaning they go from the lowest atomic number on the left to the highest on the right, moving across rows and down columns. Okay, I did mention left, like the left hand. This is the female principle, which is to do with being. The right is action-oriented, taking action. Something about left and right brain could be significant here as well, or moving from left to right. Lowest to highest, again, it's like there's something about this scale that they want us to look at. But I was more asking about like earth, air, fire, water, spirit. What kind of, I heard what direction does that go in, but I meant like what order does that go in? Okay, if it's from densest to lightest, then I would say earth, water, fire, air, or air, fire. If you guys have an idea, let me know. Okay, what order do the elements go in? Earth, water for sure, definitely, right? Yeah, and then fire, air, or air, fire, and then spirit. Ether would be the highest one. So, okay. Ascending scales, that was a previous message that they brought through in another reading. And the frequency in its full spectrum. Something about reading these frequencies, learning these frequencies, understanding what they feel like, and how we can shift willingly from one to the other. Because we see it, because we're able to identify through the feeling. Feeling is a form of seeing. Does that make sense? Like if you're blind, you feel, and that's how you see. And your brain will construct that into a virtual image, if you will. Maybe not in the same way as an actual image, but it will give you a sense of the surroundings or what you're feeling. And that's what they're showing me with the clairsentience. So if you don't have the third eye turned on and you cannot see clairvoyantly, then turn on the clairsentience or work with that gift as it's coming back online. And part of this is going to be working with clearing the miasma. Any gunk in the system or in the auric field that has been weighing you down makes it much more difficult to feel, but fear is the miasma. So work with any areas of fear, and they're giving me that feeling or sensation of anxiety in my lower stomach, in my solar plexus. So working with the energy of anxiety to understand where the fear is rooted or where it's coming from or why it's being brought to the surface. Could be in dreams, because I mentioned that I had those dreams last night that were a bit odd, and they're saying happy thoughts and you'll know in the morning. So I'm hearing lucid dreaming. That's a virtual reality experience that you can control. You can experiment a lot more and get curious and learn a lot in lucid dreams. Like it's not just a playground for fun. You can actually use it as a catalyst or a tool for spiritual evolution. And I've not yet mastered this. I've lucid dreamed a few times and it took a little bit of practice. If I did it more often, I'd probably be really good at it. But I just haven't done it. I just haven't been disciplined enough to actually try. But there's something there if you feel called to it and it sparks that curiosity. That could be the quote unquote research that you're called to do. It's like literally researching into these different quantum realms, is what they just said, quantum realms of the mind, and being able to address some of that fear or those mechanisms that have, they're saying mechanisms of control, and they're showing me the shackles again. Power disturbances, reminding me of the devil card in the tarot when they have their chains on and they're giving away that power in fear or in servitude or in lack in some way. Imbalanced power dynamics. They said parasurfer. What's a parasurfer? Is that where they like paraglide? And yeah, it is. It's what, okay, I actually saw a reference to that last week, but it was just one, so I didn't really kind of track it that much, but this gives context. A parasurfer is a person with a disability who rides waves on a surfboard or wave ski. The waves, riding the waves, but having a disability. I'm hearing disabled the rudder chain. That's from Pirates of the Caribbean. He's the best pirate I've ever seen. Okay, so something about something not working correctly and either needing to repair it or needing to learn to adapt. Yes, adapt, because I was seeing references to adaptability. They were showing me like balloon animals and flexibility. And I was like, okay, so if we twist something or we adapt it or we form it into something different, we take something at its basic form and we form it into something different, then we're able to use that in a different way, or we interact with it in a different way. So there's something about adapting. Yeah, it literally says parasurfing is an adapted form of surfing that allows people with physical disabilities to ride ocean waves. And we're talking about like these energy waves or surges. And so adapting or finding a way to ride them that allows for more control. I'm hearing suit up. Not Barney Stinson style. They showed me an astronaut. Suit up. Suit up. No. Okay, why would we put on a suit? Well, protection. So maybe this is talking about energy body protection. I did mention the tourmaline. I just held it to my heart unconsciously. Okay. Heart frequency, Merkaba, light body shielding. Yes. Cloaking devices, they're saying. So when we do this kind of work, right? It's like moths to a flame. And so there is a certain level of cloaking that we do. If you know, you know. And it's to protect ourselves, but it's also to make sure that our work is not disturbed, that our work goes undisturbed, that we're able to do this with a certain level of anonymity in the etheric realms or in the spiritual realm. They did just say etheric template. Hold up. Etheric template meaning seventh layer of the I tried to say aura and it's wanting to come out of my mouth as Odyssey. Seventh layer of the Odyssey. But I'm trying to say aura. Etheric template layer, the outermost aura layer containing our soul's purpose, karmic patterns, and divine blueprint, encompassing the totality of our existence across lifetimes. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. In a previous reading, they were showing me that all of these past life versions of self were merging together and gaining awareness of each other. And that this point in time, or this awareness or this consciousness that you have now, is the highest that you've ever had in any timeline or any parallel reality. And so there's something, they're bringing me to karmic patterns. They're showing me those scales of justice again. Temperance, I'm hearing, but that's actually, the scales are more like justice. Temperance, justice. Divine blueprint, and I'm putting my hands like this. So connections, something about connecting the two sides of the energy body. The seventh subtle body, violet in color, it is connected to the crown chakra. At this level and above, we do not directly experience the patterns or imprints of trauma and fear connected to previous galactic or other dimensional incarnations. Interesting. Okay, so the subtle bodies are the etheric body, the first layer, lack of physical energy, exhaustion, weak or ungrounded, if it's imbalanced, I guess. Emotional body, the second layer, can lead to overreacting. Mental body, the third layer, confusion, sleep problems due to a busy mind. That one I need to work on. The astral body, fourth layer, unsettled. Okay. But the etheric body is the seventh. So again, this is another area that I need to do more research on, because I've studied the seven chakras and I know some of this when it comes to these subtle bodies, but it's more like through my experience. Like there was no school that really taught me this other than my Reiki training. I did my Reiki mastership in 2016, but I learned a lot more through actually working with clients for several years. I don't do that type of work anymore on that very direct personal level, but I just got a pitch change in my left ear. Okay. Yeah. But I learned a lot just being able to see people's auras and look and scan and do energy work and energy surgery and, like channel stuff through what was coming up from the body or the soul or past lives or whatever that soul needed at that time and when they came to me. So there's something here about understanding the layers of these subtle bodies, working with specifically the mental body because that's connected to that third eye, but also the etheric or the etheric layer. No, in this case it would be etheric. Yeah, the etheric, the crown chakra. But you will know best what you need to focus on, right? Like if one of them sort of pings you a little bit more and you're like, ooh, the emotional body, I feel like I'm drawn to that, then go with that. Trust your intuition, because that clairsentience is going to point you in the direction that you're needing to go. And they're showing me those steps again, and you'll be able to build up to this next layer or to the steps. Maybe this is even talking about going from top to bottom or bottom to top in terms of the layers of the subtle bodies or the chakra system. I just cut the deck and we have healer coming out. I just talked about healing and healing practices and like Reiki healing. That's what I did for years. You have the power to help and heal others. You have the power to help and heal others. Maybe this is a practice that you're going to be learning or doing more of, or expanding. maybe this is where the clairsentience can be useful, because not only is it for your own messages to be received, but also in terms of like what you can feel from other people, or how you can help them, or how you can work with them. Clairsentience was the first clair that I had turned on, and it was activated by Reiki. When I had the attunement, it was like a switch was flipped, and all of a sudden I could just feel everything. And the Reiki energy healing actually helped me to clear my aura so that I could feel clearly. And then literally like 2 weeks after that was when my third eye opened up and I started seeing, spontaneously seeing. I've always had an imaginative mind. I've always had a very visual mind. They're saying something about a cortex, but the ability to see like things that I've never seen before, or like spirits or energy, and even auric fields with my eyes open, or to channel in these ways, was something that was completely unfamiliar to me. So this may be something that you're practicing, that you're attuning to, that you're stepping up your skill level at. They're showing me upgrades. Yeah. And over time, maybe you've been putting in overtime. The best way to get good at a skill is to practice until you get it right. That's exactly what I did. I've been practicing this for going on 8 years now. So I'm coming up on a decade, slowly but surely, and getting better. So practice makes progress. That's what I always say. Practice makes progress. And if this is talking about healing, or healing yourself, healing other people, healing these different layers of the subtle bodies, the chakra system, integrating and riding these waves, finding a way to adapt, finding a way to practice and heal and learn. And there's also let go of stress and laughter underneath that. Talk about your feelings. Love heals fear. Like, yes, all of these. Because this is how we heal. Even Reiki is the energy of love. It is universal life force energy, which is the unconditional love of all creation. But going to your happy place, using laughter as a tool or as a key to let go of stress, to process emotions, to heal any of this fear that's being triggered or that's rising from the depths, right? Because as these waves come in, what do? They reveal, they bring to the surface. They don't make stuff up, they bring stuff up. And that's actually something my Reiki master teacher used to say. Reiki doesn't make stuff up, it brings stuff up. So, riding the wave. All right, guys, I think that's the message. I will leave it there. We'll come back and we'll do some more digging and deep diving and kind of picking into these different areas as Spirit brings through these different synchronicities, messages, and channeled info. So I'm looking forward to doing that together here. Thank you guys for all of your input. Seriously, like the comments on some of the other readings have been mind expanding, like mind blowing. That's actually another sync, mind blowing. Because they're helping me to put together different pieces of the puzzle, and your perspectives are so valuable and so helpful in me understanding certain themes, topics, things that I'm not aware of, that I still have room to learn. And I'm here sharing this stuff with you, but it is a collective work that we're doing. I'm just one piece of the puzzle. You're another, and everyone is part of this. So thank you guys for helping me do this work. I really appreciate that. And I love you. We'll see you in the next reading. Don't forget to check out my other channel, It's Tarot and Beyond. If you haven't already, you can subscribe over there too. We've got pick a card readings that I do there. I try to shoot for like once weekly, but I also have a members side of the channel there that I do additional members only readings once a week. So stay tuned here and there. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.